Internets, Los Internetos, September 18th, Sony Hall, New York City. 3 The God Way. This is the rap show that you need to fucks with. Slick Rick, J Electronica, Rock Marciano, Hip Hop, Funk Flex, DJ Evil D. September 18th, New York City, Sony Hall. Internets, welcome to season 2 of the podcast called Talkitecture. All right, I'm glad that y'all stuck with us to enter this next season. And King, man, I'm glad to see you, brother.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see you,
brother.
I'm just not glad that your phone, you decided to not have a phone right now.
Well, I'm trying to take it back. I'm trying to bring that Combat Jackson feeling back.
And I remember when Combat used to be frustrated, and I had the moment recently, right? So when I DM'd you, I had to DM him, right?
Me too.
So there you go. So I had to DM him like, yo, call me, dude. But I'm not thinking, well, he can't call my number because he doesn't have a phone. He doesn't know my real number.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, yo, I don't have a number. The reason why, too, is because Fonte was in town. And we had like maybe a small window on an off night.
Dig it.
So that's why I was like, yo,
dig it.
I want to know your schedule. But at that point, it was a lost cause.
Well, don't worry. All I can tell you is no money was lost. All right? No opportunities were lost. All right? Just some time for me to be off the grid for a little bit without a phone. Honestly, I needed that break, King. And I mean, I had to think about a lot of things. And one of the things that came to my mind was like
Season 1?
Season one. And I think before we even came in here and started the Talkitecture podcast, I basically came to you, King, and I was like, yo, let's fire up another spaceship. And I remember you gave me that look like, DP, you're my man. You know you're my man. But DP, you're mad mercurial. Like, I don't want you to fucking disappear on me like
Facts.
Like the magician.
Like your cell phone.
You know, like the magician, like how we be at the party sometimes, and then next thing you know, I'm gone.
Oh, you know this, so you know how we feel.
I mean, I'm like
Blog
Thanos.
Yo,
all right, I snap my fingers and I disappear.
The cameraman come out and we ready to take the L group picture, and then the question is asked, "Where's Dallas?" And
Dallas is
we
gone.
look around,
He's in the mist.
no polo. Everybody wearing Nautica and Tommy Hilfiger, no polo. And then we just realized, damn, Dallas ain't here. He left again. And nobody's seen him leave. Every time. There's not one time anybody ever see him leave.
DP's a ninja.
Yeah,
Facts.
There was no way, King, I was gonna leave you. Again.
Pause.
Hey.
I mean, I'm just saying. Everything that you did to get us inside this space right now.
But
some
people will get left.
Well, I mean, listen, everything you did to fire up this spaceship, I really respect that. I really appreciate that from you. I never said that.
I appreciate you too. Thank you.
So let's make sure that when we do this thing, we do it to the best of our abilities.
And what's expected too.
Of course.
So just for those who they may have not listened to the last episode or last season, who might be jumping on now, just recap season 1.
I mean, season 1 we had a lot of fun getting back in here, and we had a bigger spaceship. Or we had more cast. We had more crew members. All right, we're pared down a little bit right now.
HR, aka Brother Chris, fired everybody.
No. We're not going to say HR did it. All right, we're just going to say that we had a few more cast members, and we don't have those cast members currently. But I wish everybody well that's been part of this production. I wish everybody well that listens to this thing. I wish everybody well. Period, man. What the fuck? You know what I mean? All good vibrations, good energy. For all internets.
Jenkins and Jenkins is still up and running?
Jenkins and Jenkins took us on for another season.
Okay.
All right. Abogados más fuerte. Okay, that's my Bloomberg Spanish. Nobody speaks worse Spanish than Michael Bloomberg. Me and Michael Bloomberg, basically. The worst speakers of Spanish ever.
Kendrick, there's a hot take right now.
Yeah.
Kendrick's Spanish is terrible.
Girl Joy. Good to see you, Girl Joy.
Good to be seen.
You know,
I made the cut.
I
feel like I made the cut.
Of course you did. Of course you did, Girl Joy. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you decided you still want to be part of this.
Oh man, absolutely.
But you don't have your iframes on tonight, Girl Joy.
Nah, I took the glasses off.
What's the matter? When I told you that the wave coming up is called Sexy Librarian, why are you going away from that?
No, you got to switch it up every now and again.
Okay, I dig that.
What's that hardware on your hand though? What's that all about?
Oh man.
New changes?
Nah, no changes. No changes.
Brother Chris pointed it out, so I thought I had to ask.
No changes. No changes.
Oh, that's heavy. That's heavyweight.
He said your DMs might get lighter now. So.
Oh, we with it. Take them all. Take
Oh,
all the photos.
shit.
Take all the photos.
Okay, someone was speaking nice.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Someone
no.
was speaking
Real
real nice. Real nice.
That
real
looked
nice.
like a Queens thing, Bronx, Brooklyn. We gotta play black, brown, yellow on her hand.
Here y'all go.
Mm-hmm.
Here y'all
What you
go.
think?
Well, let's take our time. Let's take our time.
Not a Staten
Let's
Island
let things develop.
Definitely
Staten
not
Island, dude.
Let's let things develop.
I don't think it's
Don't
develop.
do that.
I think it's Queen. I think it might even be Long Island. Might
I'm
be
thinking
out of
Queens.
city. Might be out of city. Might be
What
in
is
Nassau
happening
County.
right now?
Nassau County might, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely somebody's whipping.
For sure.
You know what I mean? They definitely not on a skateboard or
Long
subway.
Beach,
Mm.
not Amityville, because
Nah, not that far.
Bayside.
I'm just gonna let them
Not
talk it
Bayside,
out. Y'all talk it out. Let me know where we
Bayshore.
land.
King, you reaching right now? You reaching?
Let me know what part of the city I end up in.
Huntington.
Yo, let me tell you though, King, why I'm glad how we got season 2 starting off tonight too.
Yep.
When I love numbers, man, I love numbers, and I love science, and I love mystical, fantastical shit because I fucking love it
Space Force X.
without question. All right, and the number 360. Like tonight we get to come full circle as a podcast. All right, many years ago, our guests tonight, I encountered them at a classic New York City function. If you live in New York City and you come out of your house, all right, there are certain things that you have to be part of, certain street events that you have to be part of. All right, Puerto Rican Day Parade, yeah, slightly to me more the festival on 110th, which is harder. The Labor Day Parade, certainly, on Eastern Parkway. And one of the great street events, well, we don't do walkathon anymore, but one of the great street events is the Halloween Day Parade. And it's just dope to be hanging out in the village, styling, and just encountering mad people. And I encountered these dudes, man, over a decade ago. And they were so incredible to me because here we were in the 2000s, and the way these brothers were outfitted, it was like it was 20 years prior. It was like we were in the early 90s. And I'm like looking at these cats and I'm like, oh shit. Like what do y'all know about these fabrics? And they looked at me and they was like, what do you know? And from that point on, I was just like, yo, I have to know who these dudes are because the way they have outfitted themselves, it was like literally looking through a time machine. Like who would know how to put this with that? Who would know how to rhyme this with that? Obviously a student. Obviously someone who studies style and studies New York style. So come to find out, these brothers were Supreme students. Matter of fact, I actually had known of them, didn't know that this was them, but early internets would know about a forum called Vintage Gear Addicts. And this is like pre-internets. When the internet was built on forums and chat room, like honestly, I wasn't even up on forums like then. I was still a chat line nigga at the time. You know what I mean? I was still, fucking with people you meet up the chat line. Chat line was wild.
You was on the chat line?
I mean, no, I don't do chat line no more, man.
No, I mean, was.
Yeah.
Back then. The Raven and all that shit?
I was heavy chat line.
Damn.
In the 90s? Late 90s?
Oh, no. I'm talking about after, like, 2000.
Well, I mean, like,
Same
2002.
Shit, right?
Okay,
I feel like all the internets, whoever's on the internet was on the chat line. But that was the pre-internet.
Well, I mean, that
for the internets.
Forums were the pre-internet. I mean, AOL forums, there were... People were finding communities via chat lines and via the internet, and they were developing these communities and doing it in real life too. All right, so these cats were actually getting together their community, doing photo shoots, putting large scale maneuvers together. Like they had a movement.
Yeah.
they invited me to their internet radio show, their podcast. Okay, we weren't calling internet radio podcasts at the time, but that's what they were. These guys were podcasting because they knew enough to record a live show and then digitize it so that, boom, you could have a link to download it and put it on your iPod. That's a fucking podcast. Even if we weren't calling it podcast at the time, even if we didn't know how to call something a podcast until Juan Epstein showed up, people were podcasting hip-hop lifestyle back then.
Yeah.
All right? Don't get it confused with what people call internet radio or radio. That shit was podcasting. And you can find them files now. You can go and find Industry Shakedown Radio now. Okay? On the internets. These brothers would introduce me to Action Bronson, Mayhem Loren. These brothers would reintroduce me to Sean Price. These brothers would reintroduce me to Sean Price, a dude who I hadn't seen for 20 fucking years.
Wow.
Since we were kids and teenagers. He got into the music business. He skyrocketed. He took off. He went on his path. And these dudes basically helped bring me back into hip-hop. They helped me realize how valuable not just the time was that we were in right now, but everything that had come before that.
So you wasn't fucking with hip-hop? Like, what was you listening to, like, prior to them reintroducing you to hip-hop?
I was listening to hip-hop, but I wasn't connecting the continuity of it. Like, you can listen to it and you can enjoy some contemporary shit. I was probably doing contemporary shit at the time. What was contemporary hip-hop at the time? I don't know, some shit with a hard bottom, like with a hard bottom and a black slack, and you go to a fucking club and drink Grand Marnier with grapefruit juice. Some R&B hip-hop shit. Whatever was fucking corny at the time. I'm sure I was corny at the time. You know? I'm sure I was fucking on some pre-Drake shit. What was the pre-Drake wave? I don't even remember that. I probably tried to erase that from my head.
I'll Be Sure?
No, nigga, I'll Be Sure was dead by then.
Dead.
Who was the pre-Drake wave in 2006, 2007?
Oh, closer. Damn.
Whatever.
Ja Rule.
Nah, Ja Rule was already murdered in 2003. Yeah, probably Kanye. I was probably Kanye. I was probably like, whatever. But what these dudes opened up for me was so incredible, so broad, so exciting. And it really just excited me and inspired me to really get on my internet shit. No wonder they chose the name Timeless Truth for their band. Like, I mean, I love the name. What that name speaks to.
So, Superbad Solace, one half of Timeless Truth. There's a lot baked into that name. Like, for us, we don't just do music full time. We're blue collar, working, career driven brothers. So, for us, whenever we did have time to make music, it was with the intent that this has to stand the test of time because we don't have time to waste. So it's funny how it actually came to me, man. I was in a philosophy class. I went to Baruch College where Industry Shakedown Radio was hosted. And I'm thinking about, man, we need a name for the group. Literally like daydreaming in the moment. And the professor starts to introduce this theory called the timeless truth. And it was like, I think it was a Socrates theory. And honestly, I'd do it a disservice if I was trying to break it down like in ancient Greek format, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. But the name just automatically stuck. When I heard it, it was like a dog whistle. Like I just heard it. I looked around my class. I'm like, yo, did anybody pick that up? I wrote it down right away. I'm like, yo, I got to tell my brother, I think we got it. The timeless truth. So I was like, yo, there's 3 T's. We could do something with that. I'm thinking about like graphics, like Terrace in the Park in Corona. Like, yo, maybe we could flip that. And I told my brother, and he's like, yo, that's kind of ill, but maybe we scrap the word the and just keep timeless truth. Because when we say, you know, do the call and response, when I say timeless, yeah, I say true, timeless, true. And it was like, all right, yeah, that's it. We got it. So that's how we landed on it, man. And then, you know, we started to sit with it, and it's like, yo, time is less than the truth. The truth is going to stand forever. So we started to find more meaning in it as time went along.
That shit is heavy.
That's deep.
Yeah. That shit is heavy, right?
That was deep.
And the plus up to that was like, I remember I was on an early date with my now wife, and we were at Applebee's or Uno's on Steinway, and this is around the time like James Brown had passed away not too long ago, and I'm looking, there's a James Brown song playing, and I'm just looking at people's body language, like the waiters, the diners and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, everybody's like moving, you know, singing, and it was like, I got soul and I'm super bad, and that's kind of how my name like became Superbad Solace. But the bigger takeaway was like, yo, this man is 6 feet under right now, but he's still alive, you know, through the music. Like, it's bigger than time. So that was it, man. It just all connected. It was like, this is the constellation. This is it. This is what we're running with.
I mean, I love to preach to people about how what's incredible is how some people, the sun throws wild rays at the planet. All right, it's constantly throwing radiation at the planet, and the radiation tunes people in, makes you vibrate a certain way. You know, there's thousands of people at a Trump rally right now, because that's the way the sun makes them vibrate. That's the way they're tuned in.
Absolutely.
So you were tuned in to something that's, again, everlasting, timeless.
Yeah.
That like, and you are part of the continuity that none of us here will ever be able to measure how long the sun will throw rays at this planet.
Facts.
You know?
Yep.
We'll never be able to measure that. We can just hope to catch them rays and be part of that light. You know, I mean, to spread that light. And man, listen, ever since I met y'all, that's really what y'all have done. I mean, oh shit, y'all brought Rock Marcy to me. And the funny thing is, my super internets from Australia, Uncut, was like, yo, Rock Marcy, Rock Marcy, Rock Marcy. And I was like, yeah, you know, white dude, yeah, whatever. And y'all brought Rock Marcy to me. And matter of fact, when I met Rock Marcy through y'all, first thing Rock Marcy said to me was, oh, you fuck with them Agassiz. And I was like, shit.
We were just talking about the Agassiz on the way over here.
Like, shit. Like anybody to call a tennis shoe the Agassi, the Agassi.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, I fuck with you.
Yeah, off rip.
I fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know, I fuck with you. And really, everyone that y'all keep in y'all cipher, they're all incredible people.
Yeah, man.
Y'all are also masterful curators of character. So, okay, let's go into Industry Shakedown Radio.
Let's do it.
I really enjoyed my time up there. But how did you come to host this radio show?
So, I'm a freshman at Baruch. I'm just like trying to get the lay of the land. It's a commuter school, so it's not like a dorming situation. I couldn't do that because I was working full time to pay my tuition. But I was like, yo, I want to try to get involved and see like what's happening in the school. I know Stretch and Bob did, their show. It was like through college radio, and my knowledge of how that worked was like so limited. I had no idea, but I was mad curious. So I started roaming around, and I'm like asking people, where's the radio station? They point me to the direction, and I legit go up there and file an application. Like, yo, I don't know what I can do, but I would love to be involved. If we need to organize CDs or roll up all these promotional posters, like, I'm here. Just I want to be in this mix. They had a little studio, little booth and everything. And I met some really good people there. And there was this one moment where one of the co-hosts had dropped off for another show, and they needed somebody to fill the seat. And they're like, yo, Joel, come through. So I did that, and it was like, yo, you actually did pretty good, you know. And I was like, yo, maybe I could do this. You know, there was an opening slot. You know, somebody was graduating, and they were the hip hop show prior to me. So I was like, yo, maybe I'll think about that. And Freddie Fox had dropped the album a few years prior called Industry Shakedown, and it was one of my favorite albums of the time. And I was like, yo, the industry needs to be shaken down right now. Like, it feels job. I don't know what we were saying. Yeah, still. It was just like a lot of whack music. Still. But there's still a lot of great music that you just got to dig for and just spend a little time looking for. And I wanted to give that a platform. So that was the objective, man. And I got with my boy Jay, Pay Jay, he was going by at the time. And he wasn't from the school, so we got like special permission, and we did it. Like, it was just like the back and forth. And then we started bringing up our friends, Action, like pre-Beard Action, you know, Mayhem, Rock Marcy, Sean P, Sadat X, just mad people. We were just playing, yo, ASAP Yams, rest in peace, man. He used to call my show all the time as Eastside Stevie, and I didn't know who this is pre-ASAP. So I be playing like the stuff I love, you know, classic, underground, hard to find, Mobb Deep records and stuff like that. And again, back to like the dog whistle, like certain people hear certain frequencies, and it's like, yo, that's for me. Like, these people are talking to me right now. And Yams is one of those people, man. He used to call up all the time, yo, run that Prodigy joint back, run it back. And yeah, man, it started to bubble up a little bit, and we had like a good 2-3 year run, and it was dope, man. It was like some of the best times of my life.
So while you have the radio show bubbling, you're also helping manage the Vintage Gear Addicts.
Yes.
The Vintage Gear Addicts movement.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about that, because these things are happening concurrently.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. I mean, you're, again, this is what I talk about when I say hip hop, and people like to put us in a box sometimes and be like, listen, how could you know about Polo, but you do rap shit? Yeah. Or how could you know about this when you do sneaker shit, and not realizing how complex we are as people?
Yeah. Nah, Vintage Gear Addicts, man, I can't even take like too much credit for that. That was really my big brother and one of his boys that just figured like, yo, there's a void, there's a white space right here. There's a vintage collector community when it comes to Polo, Old Nautica, North Face, Nike, but primarily Polo. And they're like, yo, we know a few of the key players, let's try to digitize this thing. So they built the forum in 2005, YouTube, same time, same launch period. And it took off, man. Like, the word of mouth translated to online community building. And it got to the point where, like, I think there was 10 million views by the time we had closed the site. And there was no advertising on it. There was no, subscription service. It was just like
word of mouth.
It was word of mouth.
Right. I mean, this is pre-paywall,
pre-paywall.
This shit was for the people.
It was for the people. And,
right.
And the community kind of sustained itself. Like, I didn't have to moderate or anything. Everybody, kind of knew each other. People linked up in real life, to your point. Like, some of my closest friends I met from that site, and there was a global community. There was cats from Japan. There was cats in New Zealand. I went to Japan last year for the first time, and I met this dude, Dak Lowe, who I'd known online for like 15 years, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him online. He rolled out the red carpet for me in Japan. It was like, I've known this dude forever, even though physically we're linking up for the first time. So it was a real special thing, man. It was an energy and a vibe, electricity around that site, man, that, a lot of people got to learn about the threads and the vintage Polo and the stories behind them, and hear about people who lost their lives over certain pieces, So with that came the respect for this culture, I was born in 1988. That's the year a lot of classic Polo started coming out. So for me to say, like, yo, I had this joint, I had this piece since 88, like, I'd be lying. That's also the same year that Low Lifes formed. You know, so when I talk to Thurston Howard, most of the time that's the theme. He's like, yo, you were born in '88. That's the year we formed Low Lives. You know, like this is why we need you to continue the chapter. It's all cyclical. So yeah, man, it was really just the right place, the right people, the right time, and everybody came together over, you know, shared interests, and it built to be, you know, a classic site.
That night I met y'all in the Ville, your younger brother, Hess, who's with us tonight, he was with y'all.
Yep.
Hess, I mean, you're young now, still. Were you like 8 years old right now? I mean, you were tall for an 8-year-old.
I must have been 15, 16.
15, 16. I feel like you were
maybe younger.
I feel like you might have been 14. You might have been 13, 14. You was tall for your age.
We'll play it at that.
Okay, but I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this dude is too young.
Yeah, the high tech
to be this fresh. He had that high tech, that red and yellow joint. Yeah. Or was it the red and blue?
It was the black and blue joint.
Listen, it was fire. It was fire. All y'all was fire that night.
Yo, but we knew you though. We called you because
you knew Dallas.
Yeah. So
which is
the Computer Love video came out around this time. You guys seen that video? Dallas is like going to the Apple store. He's like humping like the old Macs, and then he's playing the Computer Love song in the background, and he's getting like escorted out by security. And I'm like, yo, this guy is brilliant. First of all, this is so perfect. But he was wearing a beanie that's super hard to find, the polo beanie.
The knit joint.
Yeah, the flag joint. And I'm like, this guy knows. He knows what's up. And we were leaving the radio station that night, and we were drinking up at the radio. Everybody's loose. We used to sneak, man, Hennessy up there, whatever. And I remember seeing you, and I'm like, yo, that's Dallas Page. Because Dallas Page is a wrestler that it was close. Yeah, DDP. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, Dallas Page, yo, Dallas Page.
Yeah, y'all were lit. Y'all were lit.
We were out.
Y'all were lit. Yeah.
Yo, Dallas Page. And yo, the ill thing is,
he
walked right up to, yo, like, and then it didn't hit me till like the next week. I'm like, yo, we were calling this dude Dallas Page the whole time. And I hit him up. He's like, yo, you could have called me anything, any state. You could have called me Denver. You could have called me, I forgot. You rattled off a few of them. I'm like, yo, I like this dude right here.
Now, y'all was so fresh. Y'all was definitely brothers.
Yeah.
Y'all was definitely brethren, man. Yeah, that was dope. That was just seeing y'all, again, like I say, there's certain things that are so New York that you must partake of. All right? And when you come across people and you see them, you don't know them, but you look at them, you look at their presentation, and you be like, yo, that look just like my man. That look just like my folks. You figure that's your folks anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know that you connected some kind of way anyway.
It's the wavelength.
Absolutely. Y'all caught me. Y'all caught that frequency.
Yeah, man.
And but Hess, you are legendary. You are legendary. Your brothers have told me about your legendary low collection. Where did that come from? Did it come from your older brother?
A lot of it did come from my older brother. A lot of it also came from original dudes, Bags. Mayhem, Loren used to bring us out to Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. So this dude Bags' crib, who many people are familiar with, he used to bring us to his basement, and we used to just dig through piles of clothing. So I would give props to Bags for sure. Bags and Mayhem. A lot of the collection came through there, and to be quite frank, a lot of it came from the internet as well. Mm-hmm. A lot of early eBay stuff, which we call crazy deals on. But those two sources for sure.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it. I mean, early eBay I loved early eBay. Particularly for the things that people weren't, like, there were certain things that was hype.
Yeah, of course.
But then there were certain things that fell under the radar. Matter of fact, Solace, you taught me a slick eBay trick.
What's that?
Misspelling stuff.
Oh, man. That's classic. And going to the global we would be on Google Translate to go type in German, to be talking to the German eBay sellers and stuff like that. We came up crazy. We were scheming on Polo early, man.
Dope.
Misspelling, finding things in the description box.
Yes. Looking for completed lists, completed listings that didn't sell. Reaching out personally, like, yo, I'll give you a third of what you had it.
Yo, y'all were the zeitgeist. So now, when you see Ralph Lauren taking all of this stuff now and reintroducing it, what's your feeling?
I'm not mad at it, man. Like, I think, you know, coming from my perspective, again, back to what I was saying earlier, was like a lot of the gear that I have is not first-hand gear. Like, I didn't pop the tags on most of my collection, you know. So I'm like inheriting other people's stories with the gear, right? Like, and adding my own story or my own chapters to it. But like, now that they're retroing and bringing a lot of stuff back, it's kind of cool to like pop it and be the first one to rock it. So that's the way I look at it, man. I think some of it is too wacky and is trying to do too much, but I also understand what they're trying to do from a business perspective and, you know, trying to bring in a new audience and stuff like that. But I'm not mad at it. Man. I'm copping pieces and, you know, we sweating and enjoying. So we can't be that precious about clothing, man. That's I think that's the growing insight that I learned. Like, yo, we wouldn't sit down on it. We wouldn't lean on a train door because it's gonna dirty the back of my shirt. You know, it's stupid. You know,
right. It was meant to be worn. It was meant to be
rocked. It was meant to be rocked.
Dig that.
And that's another thing. Like rocket science. That's what me and my brother came up with, that phrase where it's like, there's a science to how to rock this. You can't just slap together anything and think you're killing it. You could have $1,000 shirt if you don't know how to rock it with the right posture, with the right like amount of respect, and show that you're commanding people's kind of attention. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, man. Like, there are codes to how you put this gear together. It's not just like, to the naked eye, it just looks like a regular outfit. But those who know understand, like, yo, he's doing that. He's mixing and matching with the different generations, and nobody's doing that combo, mixing labels within the Ralph portfolio. Like, it's a layered thing, man. So
it's a science.
It's a science.
It's a
science
rocket
to how to
science.
rock it.
Los Internetos, New York City, Sony Hall, September 18th. 3 to Godway, Rock Marciano, J Electronica, Slick, Rick, The Ruler. September 18th, New York City, Sony Hall. So I tell you what, we're going to hop around a bit. But what you just described with Rocket Science is the title of the Timeless Truth project.
Yes.
After Rocket Science, we had Dominican Diner.
Yes.
I'm sorry. No, we did. We had the EP project, Brugal.
No, Brugal was first.
Oh, Brugal was first. Okay.
Yeah.
Help me get my timeline.
No, it's okay.
Correct.
Yeah. 2012, we put out Brugal and Presidentes, which was an EP. That was our introduction. We had done this song with Sean P called Priceless around the time. So we were starting to get like some internet buzz. Like Now Right was picking us up, and it's like, oh man, yo, we on Now Right. Shout out to SK, man. That meant a lot to us, man. And you know, we started to grow a little audience and cultivate that audience, reach out, speak to people directly in the DMs or emails or whatever, and just build a small but loyal fan base. So after Brugal and Presidentes, we did the first full-length album, which was Rocket Science, and that was produced by my man Authentic, who now goes by Mono and Stereo. After that, we did Dominican Diner, and then after that, we did Cold Wave, which was our last full-length album in 2016, and that's the Timeless Truth catalog.
Dig that. So with each project, what I've liked about you is that there's no rush to throw this thing against the wall and see what sticks. It's been about curating the music and really massaging it and holding and putting it together so that's a nice cohesive project.
Yeah.
Which is important in a time, in a day when, especially during the internet, this period of the internet, where people are putting songs up every day.
Yeah.
People are dropping a song every day.
That's it, man. It's disposable, you know, and that goes against everything we believe in. That goes against our name, Timeless Truth. Like, I'm not trying to be, you know, you refreshing the web page and I'm on every page because that's the pace in which I'm putting out music. Like, I don't have time to do that, you know. So we're going to take our time with it. We're not on any label. We're on our time. We're on God's time. And we're going to do it right. And when it's ready, it's ready. The people will get it when it's ready, you know. And again, it's like fans will hit us up, yo, when's the next joint dropping? And, you know, we'd interact and build relationships. So by the time we do drop the next one, they're already primed. They already know, like, oh, man, they told me directly this is dropping, so I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy the T-shirt. I'm going to buy the merch, the CDs, the cassettes, the vinyl. So, yeah, man, it's all a timing thing. It's when the time is right.
One of the things I've loved also is the art direction. We'll get into that for a second. For your merch,
Yeah.
For your music. Hess, I know you played a big part in the art direction for Cold Wave.
Yep.
And internets, you've got to go to Timeless Truth's IG page, and you've got to look at the song art for the tracks on Cold Wave. It's just a fantastic imagery that you pulled out. What was going through your mind? How did this come to you?
Started off with the album title and the inspiration behind it, Cold Wave. Started playing around with some imagery, going back to, like, specifically the 1990 North Face Trans-Antarctic expedition and, you know, the relevance of that. So just using the name and cultivating what that meant to us. And I had this big fascination with 60 ski posters that were made in Switzerland. So I said, you know what, we should do something different. And for each track, we should drop a specific artwork that all tells a story at the end. So if you go back and look at the timeline of that album and the digital rollout for it, it's pretty much 10 to 15 ski posters from the 60s that were flipped around, and, you know, we would add a Timeless Truth logo on the dude who was skiing the uniform. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Just wild thoughts going through my head looking at ski posters.
I loved it.
Which was inspired again by the 89-90 Trans-Antarctic expedition.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the art. I love the art. And I love the artwork that y'all use for your projects. I'll get into your latest project, Solace.
Yeah.
Because your artwork for that, again, was wonderful. And the Timeless Truth logo, flipping a classic New York City Transit Authority logo.
Yeah, man.
Was like, again, see, these are things, y'all are so effing New York that it hurts.
Yeah.
Like,
That's all we know, man.
Like, you have to really be New York. And what's ill to me, again, is being born in 88.
Yeah.
That logo predates you.
I didn't experience the Transit Authority. But, yo, we have the internet. The internet's, you know? So, like, I could dig in the crates. And yo, we were always the babies of the bunch. We came up with mad older cousins and, you know, all my big brother's friends that, like, we were soaking in knowledge and inspiration that we weren't getting from our generation. And I think that mixed with our youthfulness is what gave us, like, a unique perspective on everything we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Transit Authority, the flip was just like, we're doing logo exploration. We had like 200 different options, and I think it was my brother. It might have been my brother or one of his homies who was like, yo, the TA, the Transit Authority, what if we did 2 T's? It's like, let's see what it looks like. And we did the orange and blue, the Mets colors, you know, to do the nod to Queens specifically. And it was like the big T and the little T, you know, the big brother and the younger brother. And we infused so much meaning into it that just the designer didn't even have that. We were just like, yo, how could we not make this it?
I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it. I felt it. I felt it because it took me back to to seeing them old trains.
Yeah.
It took me back to seeing that, and I always marvel at, like, man, how did y'all think of this, or what made y'all, what rang off in y'all head to select? Because again, what y'all have been so good at, to me, is really curating, is selecting the right image, the right presentation, and that's going through thousands of images, that's going through thousands of looks, to come with this one that just, for me at least, rings off so authentic.
Yeah, it's worth the time though, man. You know, back to this concept of time. Like, we're not just gonna, you know, close our eyes and pick whatever our finger lands on. Like, we are analyzing everything in the details. Like, God's in the details. We say this a lot, right? Like, it matters, man, because it's gonna connect with somebody like you. It's gonna connect with a young kid, like kids who are going to the Transit Authority or to the MTA Museum in Brooklyn are seeing the old Transit Authority logos, young kids, and hitting me up like, yo, the Timeless Truth logo. And I'm like, yo, that's ill, you know, because now it's like, it's spanning generations.
Yes.
And yeah, we just knew it was right, man.
Dig it.
It was a feeling. You just know, this is it. This is it.
Dig it. So let's jump ahead to right now.
Yeah.
To Soul Controller, your solo project.
Yeah, man.
Now, I mean, you don't know anything but to be an independent artist.
Right.
All right. So you haven't at any point
No
had a machine
Never.
pushing you.
Nah. I have a machine in terms of support system, like natural relationships.
Your family. No. I'm talking about a bunch of people who are not related to you.
Yeah.
Who probably don't even love music. Robots. I mean, that's what the industry essentially is.
Mm-hmm.
So you've never had the robotic hardware
Never.
behind you.
Never. And I'm thankful for that, man. Like, it could have been a lot easier, right? Like, I spend a lot of time at the post office on Saturdays because that's the only time I have. I work Monday through Friday, you know, and I'm shipping out mad CDs and T-shirts, and it's international shipments, so each customs form takes
So you gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go to the window. You can't even go to the machine.
They hate me. They hate me at the post office. They be going to the bathroom when they see me coming in, like, yo, you getting this guy? We know who he is. You know.
You gotta switch up your Saturday post office.
I do, man. I do. I actually found a new one. East Elmhurst is good.
Oh, they good?
Yeah,
on Story Boulevard?
Yeah, the one right off of Story.
Yeah, right behind the cut. Yeah. Up on that funky little hill.
VIP.
Tips and tricks to the post office.
Yeah,
just the tips and tricks.
No. We're gonna share some cheat codes tonight. Some we're gonna share. Some we're gonna share. Dope. So I mean, but tell me about the genesis of this project.
Yeah, man. So Soul Controller, man, where do I start, man? So I've been in this zone of like creativity. Like, my brain does not turn off. You know, I work in a creative industry. I work in the advertising field. So my brain is always on. Like, I have a waterproof notepad in my shower because you never know when an idea is gonna hit you.
That's crazy.
For real. And
what do you use to write on a waterproof
a pencil?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pencil with a little suction cup. It's dope. It's called Aqua Notes. Highly recommend to
that's
everybody
crazy.
Go on Amazon and cop that. But yeah, that's just to say, like, my brain is always on, and I have mad ideas. I'm inspired by words. I'm inspired by metaphors, by clothing, by people, period, right? And I'm always jotting ideas down. So it got to the point where, like, yo, this is an overflow. Like, I got too much stuff, you know, too many thoughts. And I heard somebody say, like, yo, don't die with the music in you, you know? And I felt like, man, I have a lot of music in me, and God forbid if I left, like, I'm leaving with all of that. And I didn't feel like that was fair to me or to the people that it might touch potentially. So I had the battery in my back to just, like, yo, just go do it. You know, we had invested in, like, a little microphone, Pro Tools. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna just do this in the crib. I'd been writing for a long time. My man Mono and Stereo, he produced this entire project. So it was a matter of just like curating the beats from like hundreds, because he has mad beats. And those were the 7 that spoke to me and felt like a cohesive sound. So I worked around those tracks. There was a few more, and then, you know, we tapered it down and we got it right. And yeah, man, it was no features, no filler. Like every word counts on that project, you know. And it's exploring like a different side of me as an artist, you know. And there's a different dynamic when you're recording at home. That's something that I learned. Like, we be at PF Cutting Studio all the time. You know, Max Vargas, Hydra Studios in LIC. And I come from paying for studio time. I would work to blow a lot of my check on studio time. And what I noticed was, yo, if there's people I don't know, like in the studio, that's impacting my delivery. Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to like put up a facade and maybe sound a little tougher because I don't know who this cat is, and you know, maybe I just gotta overcompensate.
And it's a competitive nature also of the art.
It is. There would be artists that,
in case he's listening and may want to try to come for you.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Like, we really do.
You got bars.
Exactly.
And hands.
Everything. So it was all of that. And then
and machetes, because incidents, they are Dominican.
We definitely are Dominican. Okay. Yeah, that's in the stash. But yeah, man, like bringing it in-house, literally. Like, I was recording at the dining room. My wife's cooking up meals. I don't have a pop filter. I don't have none of this beautiful, like, foam padding. I'm looking outside of my window and rapping. And my boy's engineering the session, Rich. And we did it like that. And it was just organic. It was natural. There's moments I mess up on the rhymes, and I just liked how it sounded. I never heard myself in that light. And I was like, yo, let's keep it, man. There's a song where we're laughing like crazy at the end of the track, and I'm like, man, you know, let's keep it. You know, I'm reading books about influence and engineering behavior. And one thing I was learning about was the laugh track in early sitcoms. And that was developed to make the viewer at home laugh and feel social pressure to laugh because they're hearing people on TV laughing. But there was no audience. That was an audio track that an engineer was pressing play on and like raising the volume, hitting the whistle, you know, somebody slapping their thigh, like all of that. And what I learned is that triggers the person who's experiencing it it elicits that same reaction. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was like, yo, this is a hip hop record.
It gives them license to be that.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, we're demonstrating what the behavior should be. Mm-hmm. So I closed out the record just cracking up. You know, Christine's cracking up, Rich is cracking up, and everybody who listens to it, like, you're gonna end that listen with a smile on your face. And that was never an objective I had, because it was always the hard body, you know, boom, boom, we spit bars and you know, whatever, we get busy. But it's like, yo, I'm also, there's this side of me too that, yo, I'm confident in who I am, you know, and why am I reserving that dimension? Like, you're supposed to have it all.
It made it less taboo because you were in there in that moment, embracing that laughter, that happiness.
Yeah.
It gives your listener that also that lets them drop their guard.
Yeah, totally.
And let them get into that moment as well.
And we come from a school, like, a very niche kind of lane in hip-hop where, again, it's like, it's super hard body, like, tough guy, you know, and it's like, there's a time and place for that, but I'm not that guy at home, you know, so why do I have to sound like that? Right. And the darts were still coming across, the skill was still there, but it was just like, let's unlock a new piece of my personality on record. And
could you have done that in the studio?
Never. Never.
You don't think so?
No.
Could you have done that with your brother?
In the studio?
Yeah.
I mean, we're always together in the studio. No. And we'd spoken about that, like, yo, who was that cat in our session? Yo, we paying money. We don't even know who's in our session.
Right.
We don't know if this dude's gonna jack our rhymes or if he's like, we don't know. Like, the comfort of your home creatively is just like, it's a different space. It was special. Yeah.
Wow, dig that.
What was the approach like? Like going, like you've been in a group the whole time. So like now to go into like Soul Controller and it's just you. Yeah. There's no playback. There's no back and forth like that. It's just a whole new approach. Like these beats, I'm picking these beats for me now. Like what's the approach like?
That's a great question. And it was challenging, you know, because I'm used to writing like, yo, you do 16, I'll do 16. You do 8, I'll do 8. We'll figure out the back and forth and we'll do patchwork to create a song, right? I had to learn how to make a song and not just write a verse. And there's a big difference. There's a lot of dudes who could bar out, but I don't like that. I don't like that musically. Like, can you make a good song? Like, that's such a different challenge. And that's the challenge that I took on with this project, which is also why there's only 7 tracks. I was like, yo, the ones that I love are the ones that are gonna make it to this project. And it was also, it's crazy, man. Like, it dropped on June 15th. This is right when Kanye's like, yo, I'm doing all these 7 song albums. And I've been had the idea. And then people are like, yo, you doing the Kanye thing? I'm like, no, bro.
He bugged your crib.
I think so.
All these years of you worried about getting bugged at the studio, and Kanye had your oven bugged.
I think so, man. He definitely tapped
he found out where you was cooking.
Yeah.
And he had you.
He was in the dining room.
Yeah,
he was in the dining room.
He was tuned in. And the illest part about that was that he's doing the Twitter, like, the rants. He's doing all the rollout dates. And he's like, yo, Nas, June 15th. I'm like, no. Oh, no. Like, not. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was talking about it for a minute, and I'm like, yo, do I have to change it? I know I'm not at a level where I'm competing with Nas, but it was out of respect. Nas is my favorite MC of all time.
Right.
I'm a Queens dude through and through.
To the fullest.
Nas is Queens, you know? So it's like, do I just postpone it? And I was like, nah, you know what? This is
a Queens rollout.
This is a Queens rollout. And that's it. And to that point, you said it. You're like, yo, it's Queen's Day.
Right.
June 15th, it's Queen's Day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to run with that. And
it's all in how you look at it.
Exactly.
It's all perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it was Queen's Day.
That's all it is.
And when you come from Queens and Brooklyn, but if you come from Queens, then you already know Queen's Day is a motherfucking celebration.
Big facts.
All right? You're going to put some fly gear on. You're heading over to Flushing Meadow Park.
Yep.
All right?
Barbecuing.
You and your crew. You know what I mean? You're going to shoot some rhythm to a shorty. You know what I mean? You practicing your summer rhythm. Queen's Day is one of the times where you practice that summer rhythm. All right? Internet. I never had to grab an elbow. I never had to physically assault nobody. So if you heard Dallas Penn was heavy into assault and misogyny, it's a lie.
Yo, don't
Dallas
believe
Penn
the hype.
always smooth with it.
I've been hurt. I've heard about your misogyny lately.
Those are lies.
Yo,
those are liars.
whoa.
Those are lies.
That was Dallas Page.
I was always smooth with it.
TDP.
I never made him feel uncomfortable. I always made him laugh. You know what I mean?
To the point about the approach or the question about that too, like, this project came out in the summer. Like, prior to that, everything was like a winter drop. And seasonality, especially New York City seasonality, impacts our sound.
Absolutely.
Right? It was like, yo, this song, we walked into the studio with big, heavy-duty coats on and Gore-Tex and, yo, you know, that, and it's going to sound like that. It's meant, Cold Wave is a winter album. Like, I don't even play. I play it when it's like frigid outside. We dropped it on the blizzard. Like, we didn't have a rollout date for it specifically. We were just like, yo, the next blizzard that comes, that's when we're gonna drop the album. And that's what we did. Like, yo, this is God's work. This isn't us, you know. So
God's plan.
This is God's plan. Yeah.
And I love that y'all got the faith. Like, yo, a blizzard's coming.
We know.
It's coming.
We know this, man.
I mean, your artwork, even your videos. I mean, y'all literally, y'all were waiting for that.
Yeah.
Y'all were waiting for that. Y'all really
It does not stop.
So, I'm laughing now. Now I'm losing my chain of thought here. I want to jump over to Hess, because again, as part of the Timeless Truth collective, you know, although you're not a rapper, you are another influencer to me. Like your Instagram imagery, I always get hyped whenever you take a picture of the boxy Benz truck,
the G-Wagon.
I always get hyped. I always I'm like, yo, I start rubbing my hands together like, yo, for real, when I get mine. You got the G-Wagon?
Not yet.
Okay. When you get yours, tell me about the wheels you're going to put on it.
I'm going to keep it stock.
Mm-hmm.
I think stock is the best option.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
The way it comes. Just keep it original.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go for that aftermarket kit, that German kit. German kit's hard.
I would, but
German kit's hard.
I'm good with the stock option.
Okay.
For sure.
G-Wagon or Land Rover Defender.
So that's the big question. That's the big question, and I see it as an incremental thing. So,
why choose? Have both, or no?
So you start. I'll break it down for you.
Okay.
You start with the Jeep Wrangler. You do things right in life, the G-Wagon comes. You surpass that, the 1990 Defender comes after that, and the plan is to keep them all. So that's the breakdown in terms of levels.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah.
As you keep
so strategic in like everything, like even the words that he uses to answer your questions is so thought out.
You have to understand something, that it's incredible to me that these dudes who are younger than me influence me. They inspire me. I hope I give them the same.
Vice versa, man.
Yeah, like,
yo,
100%.
Man, I always light you up. Like, dude, you don't know how important you are to our culture, man. Like,
I hope I give you guys the same energy, but
100.
I love you guys because you guys
same, dog.
remind me of the value of being a student.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
And the value in that is that you constantly learn. You constantly gain knowledge. And you become greater when you share the knowledge. That's because then it comes back to you.
That's right. And we're going through that now. Like, my conversation with my younger cousins is like, yo, what is Fortnite? Tell me about why are you so hype about this? How do you play this game? You know, like, and they're schooling me, bro. And I'm like, wow. You know, I'm at that point now where I'm getting enlightened by the younger generation, and whenever I can, you know, I'll pass something on to them as well. But it's like, it does not stop.
No,
like, to your point,
no. But you see how you're ready to receive.
Yeah, man.
Ayo.
Paul,
yes,
yo,
legit.
Chill.
Legit. Thank you, brother Chris. Yeah. All right, but you're ready to receive information. That is really ultimately the value in our discussion tonight. Stay ready to be a vessel for new information, for new ideas, for new thoughts. Not that you have to keep them. You certainly don't have to keep them all. But definitely be open to having something new come inside your brain.
Yeah.
Legit?
Yeah.
Legit. Okay, yeah, no pausing.
You good.
Okay, thank you. Let's be clear on it. So, I mean, and it doesn't stop. We know that.
Never.
Timeless Truth, 5-year plan.
Man, this is being written right now, and I don't even know what it is, man. I say that to say it's God's work again. You know, like, Timeless Truth is not just a music group. Like, that's my brother. This my brother. Like, it's a collective. There's people, there's fans that I tell them, yo, you're Timeless Truth. Like, you embody a lifestyle. It's not just hip hop music. Like, this is your Timeless Truth, man. And you don't even have to be dressed like that. If you carry yourself out with respect, and dignity, integrity, your timeless truth. You know, there's kids who don't know about polo, and they don't need to, you know, but they connect with the words and the sounds, and that's all that matters, man. So, you know, we'll see what's next, man. You know, Prime right now he's being the big brother, and he's demonstrating what priorities look like. You know, he's got a family of 3 kids. That's where his focus is at. That's where his focus should be at. You know, if he was, you know, trying to do all the media stuff and, you know, while his kids are back home without the presence of their father, then he's not doing his job. You know, so again, as brothers, you know, everybody's got to do their own thing. Everybody got to play their own part. And he's doing that right now, and I'm doing the Soul Controller right now. And, you know, Hess is skyrocketing in his own way right now, but it's all about moving it forward, you know.
Hess is definitely about to get on a spaceship with Elon Musk.
Yeah, man.
I feel like I'm going to look at Hess's IG next week, and he's going to be with Elon Musk on a spaceship.
I saw the prototype, bro.
You know what I mean? Wearing some super ill atmospheric flame-proof shit.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
You're giving it away, DP.
Yeah, chill,
more cheat codes.
Oh man, listen, I know it's about to go down crazy. Internets, I gotta tell you another story. So, you guys shot a video for Priceless at the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yo.
Mad Heads came out. I didn't get to the shoot till late. Matter of fact, I missed the shoot.
You completely missed the shoot.
I missed the shoot. I missed the shoot. I missed the shoot.
I
missed the shoot. I rolled up on y'all at the Brooklyn Bridge
as we were dipping. Like
right,
cameras were packed up.
Everybody was out. But like, then y'all was headed to Alejandro's crib.
Yep.
Alejandro. So I said, boom. Okay, I'll run to Alejandro's crib and hang out with y'all. And inside there, Sean P, Thurston Howell, Rock Marciano. May stop by, and it was in that space that I was like, yo, Thirst was like, yo, there's too many beautiful minds here that we don't have some shit going on.
Yeah.
And it was in that space I was like, yo, we got to do this shit called Low End Theory.
Big facts. Yep.
You know, we gotta do this polo vintage gear collector swap meet with a concert on it.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
And again, what I go back to is being around y'all energy is very inspirational to me. It's very like when I'm around a bunch of young dudes and they're like, yo, let's fucking go rob this store.
Yo, chill.
We
did not say. We never said let's go.
It don't have to be nothing criminal. It could be something like, yo, let's go to school and learn and read these books.
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
Whatever it is that y'all say to do, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is y'all say to do, let's go do it.
Let's get it. Let's go.
Let's go do it. Y'all want to do it? Boom. I know how to do it. I know how we can do it.
We out.
I know how I can help y'all do it.
Let's go.
And again, I'm just excited for what
Low End Theory though, man. Like you gotta talk about that a little bit more.
Well, I mean, we have to do it again. We have to do it again. Solace, we have to do it again. We got to do it again. We got to get out of New York with it. It's still my dream.
Yeah.
Still my dream for us to do it again. Do it out of New York.
Great,
do it where we need a passport.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. You
said your passport is extra active.
It's actually
and ready
expired
to go.
Though. Okay, I gotta go. I went to Niagara Falls last week. I couldn't go to the Canada side, bro. I had to stay in New York.
Oh, okay. Reactivate it.
I'll be at the post office.
All right. That's a bet. That's a bet. Dang, that Hess is the only one we can bring.
Yeah, I mean, he's my stunt double. He'll hold it down for me. Yeah,
your trainer. Hess, you definitely bodied up too, bro. Bodied up.
I'm trying to stay healthy, man.
That's good. That's
just
good,
like
bro.
Rock said, just staying healthy.
That's good. That's good money. Internets. What I could tell y'all right now is I'm so excited for my brother's Timeless Truth. I'm excited for where they're going and what the future's going to hold for them. I'm excited for you, internets, because y'all are still here fucking with this Talkitecture shit. All right, y'all could be somewhere else. Y'all could be on some other podcast, some other fuck shit. But y'all are here with the real hip hop. So I'm excited for y'all and what y'all are gonna gain from this second season of the Spaceship. You know, shouts to my brother A King.
A King.
Bronx brother Cool Creep Chris.
Cool Creep Chris.
Doing our engineering. Haitian Miguel. In spirit, in the booth with us. Joy the Great.
Yeah.
All right. Ringed up right now.
Here we go.
Ringed up. Heavy.
I don't even know what y'all talking about.
Shouts to Christine also. Came through tonight.
In the
Christine Rodriguez. Yes.
Yeah.
Good to see you, sis. Good to see you, sis. Internets, follow at Timeless Truth. Follow at Joel.RDRGZ. Follow at, listen, you're going to just have to luck up. Catch Hess. IG. I don't think I want to give that away because honestly.
Check the photo tag.
I'm taking too much. I'm taking too much from Hess. Yeah. I don't want y'all to know my source. I can't give that cheat code away. Damn. I can't give that one away. Internets, this is Talkitecture. It's a podcast. And again, I thank y'all for fucking with us. It's your boy Dallas Penn. Shouts to my man Nile, intern Nile, hanging with us. You know, past bedtime.
Nile made it to season 2.
Good dude. Hey. Good dude. Yeah, Nile definitely made the cut. Nile definitely made the cut.
Internship is the key, man. For real.
That is true.
That's the way. That's the way.
Highline Ballroom.
Oh, Highline Ballroom. Sorry, yeah.
Oh shit,
Dallas.
What the fuck?
You organizing this
what
show?
The fuck?
I'm
what the
fuck?
He's
reminding me.
I'm asleep at the wheel. Thank you, Hess. Internet. Y'all gonna hear this before our show pops up. So make sure, September 26th for my motherfucking birthday. For my motherfucking birthday, you come to the Highline Ballroom for a show called Queens Gets the Money. Queens Get the Money. Superbad Solace. Havoc, Mob Deep Crew in Effect.
R.I.P.
Onyx. All right, I want to say that if you come with a bald head, a black hoodie, and black Timbs, you get in for free. But now I can't afford that. But if you do have a bald head, come through regardless. All right, it's definitely gonna be bald head Queens nigga night.
All day.
All right, let's get it. September 26th, Highline Ballroom. Internets. The Talkitecture podcast is a presentation of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to Combat Jack. Episodes are executive produced by A. King and Dallas Penn. All episodes are engineered superbly by Brother Christopher. 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 By Brother